Yeah, it's the rapradar podcast. My name is Bada.
Elliot Wilson, what's up, B?
Feeling good, man.
Yo, this guy, man, I heard you like this album a lot, man.
It's an album of the year contender.
Really?
I think so.
It's my favorite project from him too, man. It's our guy, man, Joey Badass on the Rap Radar podcast. What's up, baby?
Joey Badass.
Thank you.
Or Jovan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations on the project, man. How does it
Appreciate
feel?
that.
It feels like the reception has been unanimous so far, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it feels great for me, coming on 5 years, not releasing any music is like a big weight lifted off of my shoulders, you know what I'm saying? And it's inspiring too to see everybody receive it so well, but also for me it's like in that 5-year gap I almost forgot what it felt like, that transfer of energy to give people music and for them to respond in a way where it's like, yo, I love what you said here and this track is doing these certain things for me, you know what I mean? So now it just kind of got me motivated to keep it going.
Right.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
remember on the Light Pack EP, you said that your inner light was dimming, but you feel like you got your mojo drip back, right?
Yeah.
Like, how did you find yourself during that time?
So, around that time, that was in the midst of the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? I felt like after I put out my last album, All American Badass, that was 2017. The next year I had my first child, my daughter Indigo Rain. Things just started to things never slowed down for me, you know what I'm saying? And at that point in my life, it was like, okay, now I got a kid, and a lot of things started clicking for me, a lot of things started changing. And fast forward 2 years later, when the pandemic hit, it was like, that was the first time in my life where I actually got to sit down, in my adult life, where I got to actually sit down, because I've been like, I hit the ground running since I was 17 years old.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't been home for a 4 to 6 month period since I was 17.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So
Pro Era hit uses off it, right?
yeah, it was like shows, tours, back to back, just traveling, doing this, doing that. It was never no moment of stillness, really, like no real true moment. So when I got that, I started to realize a lot of, things that I was burying. I started to do some inner work, you know what I mean? And
Gotcha.
find myself again, because also through all of those events, I also lost 2 very close people to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of grieving that I've never done. There was a lot of trauma from that I had buried deep. I've never took that time to really go into myself, because I was so in the move. So I was able to be distracted. I was able to put that stuff off for a minute, you know what I'm saying? So 2020 came, I finally got that peace. I finally got that stillness. It felt like I found my light again. You know what I'm saying? It felt like I found, and I don't, not to say that I ever necessarily lost it, but it just kind of got clouded.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Was there a specific approach you had in mind when you attacked 2000? Because to me, there's so much energy from like the first couple tracks, like you're in your bag, and it's like, it's sort of like, there's very urgency with
Right.
it, you know what I mean?
Well, this album, I really wanted to, I wanted it to feel like how I feel right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went through many phases over the last 5 years. Like, the first 2 albums I was working on, they had a really dark undertone because I was depressed. You know what I mean? Like, with 2000, this is me fully in my light. Like, you know what I'm saying? The depression is over. Like, I've walked out of that. I beat that. There's so much songs too that I've made in that era which I'm still so emotionally attracted to, but I couldn't put it on this album.
Okay.
Because I wanted people to feel where I'm at now, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, part of that is, like this is an abundant album. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm living in that energy. I'm living in that headspace. This is my lifestyle. This is my life.
It's
you know
crazy
what
when I
I'm
was listening to some of your early music, like how your flows changed, and like how this project, you sound like, to me, very like poised and polished and precise, like
Right.
with the bars. Like,
Yeah.
Can you speak about that, like your improvement as a lyricist?
Well, over the years, over these last 5 years, I've done a lot of experimenting, but I would say, what might be true to sound for a lot of my listeners is that traditional rap style, you know what I'm saying, that showcases all over 2000. So over these last couple of years, like, I haven't missed a single moment on that. I've been developing my skill, developing my style, while still experimenting as an artist and trying out new sounds and new things. But I mean, listen, I'm somebody who you call a self-improvement junkie. You know what I mean? I'm always gonna push my pen. Even after 2000, like right now I'm in a space where I'm even more inspired, and it's like I started journaling now. And I'm kind of observing the ways how that's pushing my pen as well, just on a more like detailed aspect and a more self-aware aspect, you know?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Obviously, 2000 is the sequel to 1999, your breakout mixtape. And back in June, there was some delay over sample issues, right? You said a lot of people thought that was pushed back because of the Drake album.
Right.
Honestly, never mind. Like, what was this issue with the song clearance?
So, all right, if I'm being completely honest, because I don't really know how to not be. And,
That's
you
great
know,
for a guest to the Rap Radio
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
We
you
enjoy
know,
that.
well, you know, first off, it had nothing to do with Drake. We had no idea that Drake was even coming, just like the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What really happened, and you know, Guru, forgive me for saying this if this is like out of pocket, but
Young
you know,
Guru.
Young Guru, you know, he was mixing the album and his father passed.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? And he had to deal with that.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I was
I
not
mean,
about to, you know, put any
Respect
pressure
that.
on him or like, you know, and I wanted him to mix the album. So, you know, I could have got somebody else to mix it, but I just decided to wait for him. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take the heat. Sample clearances, boom, boom, boom.
Gotcha.
Then the Drake thing happened. It happened to be convenient. It happened to kind of work in my favor.
Right.
Because I got a whole press run off of that. You know what I mean? So like,
It worked out.
It worked out, and I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm glad that it did. I'm glad that we did do that. Like, I believe everything happens for a
Take
reason.
that extra time.
Yeah, and I
Right.
feel like it gave it that extra time for me to create that buzz, for me to kind of roll it out, for me to get the hype up. You know what I'm saying? And because we were just gonna drop it like right on his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Boom, here's the album.
Yeah.
But I like that we pushed it back, and then you know what I'm saying, we dropped some joints before it and everything. And yeah,
So
I
we
think
hear
that
about
was just the
we
right
hear
way.
about the Guru touch, like, but what in your opinion makes him so special in terms of like the mixing and the mastering, like?
Well, you know, to be honest, from my perspective, like, you know, I've always thought what he done was amazing. But for me, like, I'm a rapport guy. I'm an energy guy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've always ran into Goo over the years. And, like, you know, it'd be a massive, like, mutual respect and, like, connection. We always spoke about working. So when I knew that this was the project I was coming with, I'm like, yo, I can't think of a better person to
Right.
do this with. You know what I mean? And I hit him up, and it just aligned just like that.
Another person that brought the energy is Diddy. He's the first voice you
yeah.
hear on
Yeah.
2000.
Yeah.
Why do you want him to set the tone for the album? He wearing the shirt, of course. You know what I mean?
Take that.
It's only
Take
paid
that.
homage.
Take that.
He's almost like the narrator in a way.
He's somebody who I've built a really strong relationship with over the last couple of years, and he's somebody who's definitely pushed my pen, pushed me past barriers and repeatedly challenges me, you know what I'm saying? So once I had the whole album, that was actually the last song I recorded for the album.
Oh, the intro
Yeah,
was
the
the
intro.
last
We
one. The
recorded
baddest.
that we recorded that like the last week of May.
Okay.
You know, and it was a vision that I had. I wanted to create this kind of motif for that album where it was like kind of jazz clubby, and that would, like, I wanted the intro to kind of lay that, and then the skits and the transitions would kind of follow that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, Puff is the best person to set that tone.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just kind of hit him up one day because I was in LA finishing it, and he just pulled up. He pulled up with a sommelier. But instead of serving wine, he was serving De Leon.
What was those sessions like? Were you encouraging him to pop his Puff Daddy shit? Like,
Oh
what
yeah, he
it?
was like, yo, do a take, be me. You know what I'm saying? So I did it for him like the way that I wanted him to do it.
Yeah.
It's actually on my Instagram. It's like a little clip of the making of that joint. And then he just did it. You know what I'm saying? He understood the vision right away, and he just got it. Yeah. And he trusted me. You know what I'm saying? Like he hasn't heard it until it came out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Literally. What did he say about it when he heard it?
He loves it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, he loved it, man. He loved it.
Yeah, and got Nas on there too. Like, why was it all support to get him on there? He's
So-
calling you by your government, man. Joe
I
Bond.
know, which was crazy, and it was. So I'll tell you the whole story about that, which is kind of a little bit bugged out. But
And that's on Cruise Control.
yeah, that's at the end of Cruise Control. So originally, I wanted Nas on "Wanna Be Loved." You know, he was supposed to cut that for me, but you know, schedules and everything, he couldn't get around to it. So we actually had a show. We had a festival in Poland together. It's just me and Nas in his dressing room. We chopping it up for hours. We talk about all types of shit. I'm like, yo. I'm like trying to think of the right time to bring back up the track that I need you for.
Right.
So eventually I'm like, yo, bro, listen, whatever. You can't do the verse, cool. But I need your presence on this joint.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I got this idea, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm approaching the album like this, if you could just say some words. Boom, boom. He said, bet, got you. He sent it back. And that was that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
He's also the one that told you the Head High was the single, right? Was that the same time or was it a little before?
No. This was 2 separate times.
Okay.
That was probably in March. That was winter time in New York City. I think that was when we did the podcast for his joint with Miss Info.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, having, like you said, New York City, having like Puff and Nas and Nod to all that, like, how important is it to rep New York City in the hip-hop landscape? It seems very like you're repping for New York, the New York spot in the game right now.
For me, it's very important because it's like, at 27, the third album of my career, it's like I'm looking at this whole shit different. It's like, you got artists and you got listeners, but you also got product and you got consumer. And I feel like me understanding my brand identity is like New York, like people listen to music for escapism. You know what I'm saying? Like your music got to be able to take them somewhere. And I just so happen to be that New York guy for a lot of people. But it's also branded in me, like it's authentic, like it's real. So me understanding that, I definitely wanted to drill in that a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? That's why like my stuff goes so crazy overseas, because they listen to my shit and they teleport themselves to the best city in the world. You know what I mean? So I feel like that element is always gonna be present in my music. You know what I mean? Like it's where I'm from. It's also just the Mecca of the world. Like it's an honor, it's a badge of honor.
Absolutely.
And I don't even, I'm from New York, I'm from Brooklyn.
We're talking to 2 Queens guys now, Joe. We biased.
Oh, well, you niggas from Queens, so,
We get a pass.
I also saw you tweeted back in May that you said you found your Quincy Jones. It's over for you niggas. Who's that Quincy Jones for you for this album?
It's like a combination, niggas, I ain't gonna lie. It's like, so shout out to my boy Chris McClenny. He just came on as pretty much my musical director on my last tour, you know what I mean? He was very present on this album as well. He did the intro and all of the transitional skits in between with the keys. My boy Eric Ark Elliott.
No, Eric. Flatbush
From the
Zombies.
Zombies,
yes, sir.
you know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
Which is a monster. He also co-produced the joint with Chris. Statik Selektah.
Statik Selektah.
Why I feel Statik Selektah is very underrated, you know what I mean? Like in terms of just how much, impact he has. Like the touches on the album, like the segues, the sequencing and stuff, his production.
This decade is gonna change.
Yes, sir.
He's gonna run this
Statik
decade
is dope.
for sure.
It feels like you guys, I mean, obviously you've done a lot of work together, but for this project, it feels like you guys took it to a whole nother level.
Absolutely.
Was the chemistry different this time around?
Nah, like our chemistry is always the same. It's just, you got like, it's just, we took a 5-year gap and still, okay, so boom. Statik is like my comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be out in the world, I'll be working with everybody. I'll go to Atlanta, work with everybody, go to LA, work with everybody. Then I come home and it's like, with Statik, I just go over there by myself. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm pulling up to the studio. You over there? All right, cool.
Yeah.
And it's just me and Statik in the room. And we'll do that probably like 3 to 4 times a year and come out with like 10 tracks a year by just those random link ups. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we used to do way more when he was actually my tour DJ. We would just be on the road cutting shit up. But we'll do that and 10 by 5 years, it's like 50 records we just had. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's so easy for us to tune in because we just got that chemistry. We got that rapport. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's like, it's clockwork.
A great creative space for you.
Yeah, it's like if every time I go to Statik crib, we making something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Something that's definitely gonna stand out, be one of those ones. Like it's just kind of inevitable because the thing is, his work ethic is so crazy that he always just got one of those beats or 2 of those beats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'll go in one sitting, it's like, all right, boom, and we're gonna do it right on the spot.
And listening to the album, seems like you're also embracing your role as this like elder statesman in the game. Like you mentioned, you came in at 17, 10 years in. Like, is that fair to say? Like on Zip Codes, you say 10 years killing the game. I'm really goated, nigga. Like, are you embracing that?
Absolutely,
that role?
Absolutely. You know, every day more and more too. It's like, especially to meet these newer artists coming into the game, and it's like, you know, they giving me my flowers. Like, yo, I've been listening since then. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? Like, I paved the way for a lot of these young artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I remember when I first met Lil Uzi Vert, he said, yo, bro, you showed me that I could do this shit.
That's crazy.
I saw your video on MTV, Sucker Free. I saw you like the same age as me. Like, you made me think it was possible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, quote me, God strike me if I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? Ask him.
Right.
You feel me? Like, and he's not the only one. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to my brother X. rest in peace to Juice WRLD. You know what I'm saying? Like, they all have given me my flowers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely, I'm just walking into that. I can't deny it. I can't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also, it's like, the work is there, the wisdom is there. You know what I'm saying? Like, the knowledge is there, the character is there. It's all there.
On Head Eye, you speak on X. Like, what compelled you to share that interaction you had with him?
Well, man, I just think he was a really special dude, you know what I'm saying? And I really did appreciate that time that we spent together. I flew to Miami to work with him for a couple of days while he was on house arrest. And it's like, you know, we really connected. We the same sign, Aquarius. We found the chemistry real quick, you know what I'm saying? And even before that, like, we used to just speak. It was like we was pen pals or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, I was somebody he looked up to. You know what I mean? So he would hit me up and we would just chop it up about whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that was just my homie, man. That's my little bro, for real, you know?
You said you told him what his album was missing. What was it missing?
It was missing it's missing me.
Which album like is no Joey B.
Like, it's kind of like what it was, like what I told him, because I was a big fan of 17. His first album. And I feel like he didn't have nothing in the vein of Jocelyn Flores or Everybody Dies in Their Nightmares. So we made Infinity right then and there, and then he made Remedy for a Broken Heart right after I left. Like, he was inspired type shit, you know what I'm saying? So that was it. He added those two in.
But that's dope to get it, be able to have that conversation and be kind of critical of a peer and like.
No, that's a fact. Because I would want somebody to do the same thing for me.
I was gonna say, if that ever happened to you, when you felt like
even on this album, like my brother Jid, you know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, you gotta put a female on this record right here. You gotta just have her sing the vocals. You know what I'm saying? On the joint that we did and on Cruise Control, he told me that for. You know what I mean? And my brother Ab-Soul, same thing. Like, you know, Solo funny though. He's like, yo, we thought you was. He was telling me when him and Dot had her revenge, like they thought that I was out of here. They was like, yo, we thought you was like, fuck it. We going big on big. He's like, yo, we wasn't mad at you though. But when I played him the album, he was like, yo, but I'm happy that this is the album.
Well, I was mad at you because I saw you said that you didn't like a lot of the backlash you got with Devastated. Like, I love Devastated.
Devastated's a great record.
Like, talk about making a great record like that, and then sometimes people try to pull you and say, well, we want this sort of essence from you. Like,
so boom, Devastated. Like, what I realized is, yes, I'm an artist. You know what I mean? Anybody around me can tell you that. Like, I got range like a motherfucker. However, it doesn't matter to your consumers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they're used to, all right, it's like going to your favorite restaurant.
Okay.
And the dish is the fettuccine. You know what I'm saying? And you close down, so you close down for like 2 weeks. You come back, your clientele is lined up, and you ain't got the fettuccine on your menu. What the fuck you think we come here for?
Right.
We don't want the tagliatelle. We don't want the rigatoni.
big talk. You talking that big talk.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we want the fettuccine. You know what I'm saying? So like, that was me seeing that for the first time.
Wow.
Like, I thought what was so ill was, yo, how I could make this song and it's so different from any song I've ever made, and it could be this big song. Like, I praise that, and I know there's a lot of my fans who do praise that, but for the most part, the majority, they had a disconnect to that song because they didn't see my identity in it. They didn't see my identity in the sound. They didn't see the same guy that they fell in love with in that sound. You know what I'm saying? Which is understandable to me now. Like, I could process that thought.
Yo, that's the show, because there's a lot of artists now, the younger artists, that come in, they'll make a big record, but you don't really connect to who they are yet. You just love the record.
Exactly.
You had built the era you're from, the generation, you know, whether it was Cole, Drake, you know, you guys, Kendrick, you built your identity.
Nah, for sure.
Off the rip. Before you made hit records, you had built an identity.
The gift is the curse.
Yeah, for real.
The gift is the curse, you know what I mean? But it's a different understanding when you have that awareness. It's like, okay, cool, like, this is a hit album. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference between the record and, you know what I'm saying? So
how much pride do you take? Because you do the JayZ elements of like, who's the best MC, Kenny Cole, you know, you or Cole. Like, how proud are you being from that generation of hip hop?
How proud?
Yeah.
Very, you know, very. Like, I feel like.
What made it special to you? Like, because we always draw up the Drake, Cole, Kendrick narrative, you.
What made it special is that we brought rapping back to the game at a time where it was just kind of, you know, rap was really mainstream. It was, you know, we had greats like Lil Wayne, JayZ, Kanye West, of course, but these guys were mainstream. Like, we brought the underground back.
Yeah.
We literally were the underground movement of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were the guys like, oh, these guys are next up. These guys is giving these guys up top the pressure.
Yeah, you saw Kendrick put a rare IG up yesterday, says Forever Underground infiltrating the mainstream.
Word up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's been. You know, that's what it always was.
You mentioned them on the baddest, you know, Cole and Kendrick. Like, do you feel like those are the only competition right now? JID. And that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? Jid, Denzel, you know what I mean? These guys are consistent in their craft. Smino. You said X brought out the competitiveness in you, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Rest in peace, my dog, of course, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, these guys are all like in that mindset, want to be the best, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I keep them close. But those are really my brothers though, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it reminds me of back in the days, me, Steez, and CJ.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, like you want to be close to the competition because that's how you stay on your.
It's dope to hear you say that because a lot of artists don't feel like they have that competitiveness.
Yeah, anymore, I mean, it's because a lot of artists don't want to give other artists, you know what I'm saying, like the grace or the flowers or the respect publicly, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, yo, we are all intertwined anyway. You know what I'm saying? Whether somebody speaks on it or not. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it real, but these are also my guys, you know what I'm saying?
That lyric stood out to me. You say, I'm taking steps to be the best till they lay me to rest.
All day.
So I want, like, what did those steps look like for you?
Man, just constant elevation. Constant elevation, you know what I mean? Just always challenging myself, pushing myself to do things that I've never done. And even if I gotta reinvent the wheel, to do it better, you know what I'm saying? To do it stronger and shit like that.
Yeah. How did you find the balance from the, you know, a lot of times we see hip hop, somebody's acting thing takes off, it's hard to get back to that music, you know what I mean? Like, how were you able to like find that balance?
It's just alignment, really. Like, I don't know, to be honest. I just always had a interest for TV and film. I got that first opportunity, knocked it out the park, and it just kind of been a snowball effect from there. At the same time, still on my music career, you know, I just feel like this is kind of the first time we've seen it done in this new generation. So I'm almost like writing the blueprint right now.
Okay.
Live.
Right.
You know what I mean? In real time, I'm writing the blueprint on how to do that. I'm still figuring this shit out, but it's I'm just letting it flow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm kind of just rolling with the punches. But one thing I will say when it comes to TV and film, like, I'm very particular about what I do accept, what I do take on. Because one, I do have another career. I have a reputation, you know what I'm saying, that I don't want to tarnish. So I got to be super selective with roles that I'm taking in TV and film. Like, I can't be out here like playing like a ballerina. You know what I mean? Like,
ballerina badass?
You know what I'm saying? Like just, you know, certain roles you did.
I read you were supposed to be in Harder They Fall, right?
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to my man James. Yeah, we was trying to make that work out during the pandemic, but with the pandemic plus me filming for Raising Kanan, we couldn't do it.
And 50 Cent giving you 2 M's, how you supposed to act, right?
I mean, you see it. You know what I mean?
So that role was like a $2 million role.
Yeah.
Still along that neighborhood.
You do touch on it. There's a lot of money, a little bit of money talk.
A lot. It's a big.
I mean, but you also bring up like stocks and stuff like that. Like, talk about that transition of like, you know, everybody wants to get the bag, right? But then with the bag comes responsibility. It seems like you kind of touch on that a little bit about. You know, how financial stability's kind of changed your life.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm big on financial stability, financial literacy, financial freedom. You know what I mean? And since from a young age, starting my stock portfolio early, my investment portfolio early, you know what I mean? Having conversations with certain people, you know what I'm saying, networking with the right people and things like that, reading books, doing my own knowledge, doing my own research. That's like, yeah, you know, we're at a point now where, you know, we could splurge and we could have fun, but the mentality is always making the right and safe moves and investments, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like on Cruise Control, you kind of touched on that a little bit. Like, you feel like there's a lot of hanger-ons surrounding you and like people that are just latching on to what we used to do. not necessarily being a part of your life today, right?
Right.
Like, I think there was that lyric, he was like, a lot of people thought that they were there for me, they were just in the way. So how do you like navigate and like kind of filter out those people that are in the way?
That's a great question. It's something that I learned with time. You know what I mean? It just, energy is the first thing. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay attention to how you feel when you're around certain people, or once you leave certain people, or once you have a certain exchange with certain people. Do you feel robbed? Do you feel liberated? Do you feel positive? Do you feel negative? So me starting to pay attention to things like that and just kind of cleaning up my circle and tightening it up, and really seeing people for if they was taking something from me, or if they was contributing and it was a mutual thing, and just learning building my discernment from that. It's definitely, like I said, something that happened over time because, you got trials and tribulations, like you learn things about people. One of my recent lessons is love ain't enough. Love ain't enough for me to bend over backwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, at first maybe, but after a while, like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a boundary you gotta set after a while. It's a breaking point.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but love just ain't enough.
I know you had a spiritual awakening back in June of 2020. And on the album, you say you meditate every day. Like, how has that helped you?
Helps me a lot. I actually don't meditate every day. I try to.
Okay.
Intentionally. Like, I want to meditate every day. That's kind of like a manifestation.
Okay.
At a point I was, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely when I wrote that song, I was. But it's hard to find that stillness and that peace when you're so on the move. You know what I mean? Like, I've been nonstop since May, and I'm just getting back home, like off a tour, trying to find that stillness and everything. But it's very important, man, because you got to be able to slow down time a little bit and really premeditate things that you want to do and decisions that you want to make, because when you're just living on the pulse all the time, it's so it's like a bunch of doors, and if you're living on the pulse every time, like you ain't got time to really consider which door is necessarily the best to take. You just so instead of it being 5 doors, it's just 2.
Just 2, okay.
And you just going, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
choose left or right. You know what I'm saying? So it's important because you get to maximize opportunities that way. You got to take that stillness. You got to have that moment of clarity, because also if you're burnt out, that don't serve anybody. You know what I'm saying? You can't do anything to the best of your ability if you're not feeling your best self.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't give nothing your 100%.
Right.
So whatever it is, you know what I mean? Shit, you show up to work, like if Bada not 100%, this rapradar interview, it's kind of like,
Right.
Like Elliot was good, but I don't know what's wrong with Bada today.
We had off games
He
sometimes.
need a massage or something.
Right. And I'm sure having, your daughter, it centers you as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, not only did it center me, but like it really softened me. You know what I mean? It made me much more patient, much more gentle and delicate in my approach. You know?
I read on the stars, you said that was the wake up, right?
It was a wake up because that was at a point in my life where I was taking care of so many people, and I thought that I had to. Like, I thought it was my absolute responsibility. So when I had my kid, it was like, oh shit, I only got one.
Right.
You know
One
what I'm
person
saying?
I really gotta provide for.
I only got one person that I'm really actually obligated to provide for. And it was a big wake up call for me, because now it's like, all right, like, it almost was the right excuse too, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, all right,
Yeah.
my kid is here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got to get things in
That's
order.
baby girl's money right
yeah,
now.
yeah, this baby girl time.
Yeah.
Now, like, so no hard feelings.
Absolutely. Family seems to be like an underlying theme throughout the project. I mean, I've been introduced to Richie Rich. Was that your cousin?
Yeah,
You say he wrote your first rhyme for you?
yeah.
You
My cousin Richie.
Do you remember that rhyme?
My name is Little J and I got the 9. You mess with me and I blow off your mind. They hating cuz I be on my grind and I always shine. Why you acting like you sell Glocks? If I put a pipe bomb in your mailbox.
That's boss.
Yeah, I was like 6, 7, 8, rapping that verse, not
Damn.
even knowing what the fuck I was talking about.
Wow.
Yo, I remember one time, like, my mom was like, she was hosting an event, like, she had her friends and over by the house, and like, they was asking me, what you want to be? when you grow up? And I was like, I want to be a rapper. And then they like, you want to be a rapper? Then you got to know how to rap. You can rap? I'm like, yeah. They like, rap. And I rapped that verse. My mom looked at me like, she said, you know what a 9 is? I said, no. She said, listen, if you want to rap, you rap. But you make sure you stick to what you know.
Wow.
Love that.
That's what my dudes told me. That's what my dudes told me. You know what I'm saying? And from there, I looked it up. I was like, oh shit, that's a gun. I was like, a 9 is a gun.
But then did you feel like you wanted to be a rapper? Like when did that click kick in that could be a reality for you?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
It was always a reality. I mean, since I saw Biggie on the TV, I don't know, it was something about Biggie that just made me feel from a very young age that I could be that. You know, I remember going to first grade for the first time and being introduced to poetry. And I was like, oh, like the way my brain registered it was like, this is what Biggie does.
Wow.
And then from there, I would write poems in rap structures. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it started right there.
Right.
Yeah. You mentioned it always comes up a lot. The infamous meeting with JayZ, right?
Yeah.
You say on the record, you say, "I peep game like Jay. That's why he didn't sign us."
Yeah.
Can we speak a little about that? Why did you go there with it, and what does that
keep
mean?
the game at bay like the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, just pretty much being like, all right, so I read JayZ's book, Decoded.
Yes, sir.
And one of my biggest takeaways from that was when he had that meeting with Russell Simmons. When he like, yo, he said he realized in that moment, I don't want to sign to these niggas. I want to be these niggas. So that was that. That was like a nod to that bar. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to Jay.
Dope.
I mean, I still obviously have a great relationship.
Yeah, no, we good. I mean, you know, we cordial. Like, you know, I don't call him or anything, but like every time we see each other, we have a great convo. And it's just, last time you see me, actually, he was like, yo, it's hard for me to differentiate you from your character.
So which one? Unique?
Unique. Yeah.
You also work with John Manilli, a former colleague of Jay, Consigliere. What's that like? Like, Manilli's kind of one of the biggest forces behind the scenes. Like, what's it like working with him?
Yeah, man, me and Manilli, we've been working for the last 5 years. It's great, man. We got this really good dynamic, you know what I'm saying? Shit, I hope like brand CEOs and shit don't be tuning in Rap Radar, because expose our little joint, but like we got this good bad cop, good cop like dynamic, you know what I'm saying? And it's a really good approach. We got this good chemistry and rapport. Like Manilli is my man for real, you know what I'm saying? He has helped me turn my shit around, make all my shit make sense, because before I met him, my shit was a mess. You know what I'm saying? Like all my shit was convoluted. It was all over the place, and now it's all together and organized. So.
Shout out John.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You say you feel like you're the most underrated, but at least you ain't the most underpaid, right?
You hear me?
One of the records that stood out to me too on the album is Survivor's Guilt. You know, obviously we touched on like Capital Steez and your other family member, Junior B. Can you talk about him and like the impact that he had in your life?
Yeah, man. Junior B was my older cousin. It was Junior and it was my cousin Craig.
Okay.
Junior was the older brother, Craig was the younger brother, and like growing up, they were like almost like these big brother figures in my life. You know what I'm saying? And
you had a lot of cousins, Rel too.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I mean, I got a big ass family.
Gotcha.
I got a big ass family, and yeah, I'm grateful for that. I remember at the end of 2013, like I was really depressed. I was adjusting with the fame. It was like my second year in the game. Just lost my man a year ago, still dealing with that, not knowing how to deal with it, you know, not knowing how to grieve. Just a little bit in over my head. And, you know, I was venting to Junior one day and I told him, like, I need help. You know what I'm saying? And he was always somebody who was very responsible and very, you know, well put together and organized. So I knew I could kind of lean on him a bit. And he said, yo, I'm going to finish this semester of school and I'm going to come up there. And he came up the year 2014, and that whole year, like, really helped me get my shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was my day-to-day, my assistant, my touring manager. We lived together. Every day he woke me up. You know what I'm saying? He's the first voice, first face I would hear, last voice, last face I would see. You know what I'm saying? We was doing a tour at the end of 2014, a Europe tour, and he had to go home because he couldn't come to a certain country because his passport or whatever. And he went back home for Thanksgiving, and that's when he had passed away in a tragic car accident, like a block away from his crib.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that was real hard on the family, super hard on me too. I mean, I was on the road, not knowing what to do. He was in the hospital. He was in the hospital for about like 7 days before he passed. So I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know what was gonna happen. Like, I felt like he would have wanted me to stay on the tour, so I stayed. And then I didn't get to see him before he passed. And, you know, that shit always played a big part in my grieving and everything, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
How tough was it to record Survivor's Guilt and, like, you know, really lay it out there? Because you touch on a lot of...
The only thing that was tough about it was that I had to record it in front of other people. But it was cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was my people, so you know, I wasn't bugged out too much. But the recording process was good, man. It felt therapeutic to get that out, to get that on record. Like, even writing it was such a therapeutic process. And I also didn't write it. Like, it just was coming to me. And I'm just... The whole first verse, it was just coming to me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just reciting it over and over. And that's what makes it so, you know what I mean, real. Like, I don't think I could even wrote that on paper. Like, it had to be like that because of the way I was speaking, you know what I'm saying? And yeah.
And even when like Stilo, you talk about mental health and how we look at that now compared to how we looked at it back then and how important we view it, right?
Back then, it was so much more taboo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was so much more taboo, like, especially for black people. You know, like, black people are just starting to open up to it.
Right.
A little bit.
A little bit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been telling a lot of my niggas, like, you need to go to therapy. And they still want some, you know, like Kendrick said, real niggas don't need therapy or whatever. So,
how about with Steez's family? How have they received that record? Because I felt like you kind of, not say apologized, but just, you know, you spoke about your relationship with them.
I mean, you know, I gave my perspective on the situation. You know, unfortunately, I don't speak to them anymore. I don't really have a relationship with them, so I'm not sure how they received it, you know. But my intention was definitely not for them to receive it any bad type of way.
Right.
And I think that's kind of understood in the record. If anything, I was looking forward to this igniting something to possibly have his music come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how did Ab-Soul get on the outro of that record? And it's kind of fitting to have him on it because it felt like that record that he had on Book of Soul.
The one about Lori.
Yeah, about Lori, right. Yeah.
So Ab got a homie named Doughburger, which is like his brother, but he was also like my brother. You know, we got really close since 2014 when we all met. Like, Ab-Soul's my brother. You know what I'm saying? We got matching tattoos. We got 47.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my dog, Ab and Doe. So Doe passed back in December. And that was like, I didn't go to LA without hitting Doe or seeing Doe. I wouldn't even see Solo a lot of the times, but I would see Doe and like, that was me connecting with Solo.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? That was his standing pretty much, you feel me? And like, those just hold all of the homies down. All of the homies, you feel me? So when he passed, that hit us really hard. And with this new album coming out, like, I really wanted to channel his energy through it. So I asked for Solo, and you know, Solo and Steez also had an interesting relationship too.
Yeah.
So I thought that was just a good way to kind of tie it together. I asked Solo to say some words, like, you know what I'm saying, and drop Doughburger name in there too. So that's the homies right there, you feel me?
I kind of like how, like, on the track list, you don't see Nas, you don't see Ab-Soul on there, you know? It's just like, you gotta listen to the record.
Some hidden features in addition to the ones that's shown. Yeah. Thanks for appreciating that.
Beat out popping mess saying, what do you say about the album?
I just said fire.
You did say fire.
Yeah.
But you know, it was a genuine fire though. Like, I felt the energy. I was like, nah, Beat Out really fucks with my album.
I had to text him. I'm like, yo, this album
Beat Out makes a lot of lists too.
This is fire.
Beat Out makes a lot of lists though. I'm scared.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. But you know, not to stay.
Everybody's opinion is their opinion, but if you put me outside the top 10, motherfucker,
not to stay too morbid, but before you released this album, you had a record with Russ and Danger Mouse, right? And you talked about a shooting that happened on 34th Street, and you said it still haunts you. Can you talk about that moment?
Man, I was real young, and I think I was with my mom's in like a tailor shop or something like that, right on Church Avenue and 34th Street. It was just like out of nowhere, it was just mad shots just went on, pop, 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 pop. You know what I'm saying? And that was the first time that happened to me as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Because it was many other times after that, like just being in proximity of gunshots or whatever. But that was the first time, so that was like the real first traumatic experience. You know what I'm saying? And that just always like kind of run with me because I remember how terrified I was in that moment. Like I was a little kid. I'm like, yo, is somebody just gonna run in this store and just shoot us? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you don't know what to think at that age.
It was dope to hear you and Russ connect on that record. We had an interview with him. He even talked about it on his book, about how he met you before he became famous. Do you remember that moment?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll never forget that moment because even that day, like he had this confidence about him.
Yeah.
Yo, so I pulled up to my my homie Kid Super spot because he got that, well, the old one that he had in Brooklyn right on Broadway. And you know, just regular, we used to just pull up there and just hang out. He had like a little makeshift soccer field in his backyard. We play soccer. So one day I pull up and Russ is there and you know, we just kicking it, we playing soccer and he just like, I liked his energy. You know what I mean? Yeah. He had this real confident energy. Like he seemed like he was very self-aware and knew what he wanted to do. And like, you know, we spoke and it was something about the exchange that I seen that what I saw what he got from it. And it was interesting because years later in his book, he actually detailed the experience, which is how I actually perceived it. And what he said is that when he met me, like the fact that we were just there, we was playing soccer and I was just chilling, I was so humble. He said it made him see like it just fueled the fire under him. Like he was already had his plan, but meeting me like kind of cemented in his brain that he was gonna make it happen for real, you know what I'm saying? And I thought that was dope because that's always my approach, that's always my intention. Like I always say, like when fans or whoever approach me on the street, I try to always show love because you never know where they at in life in that moment, where they were in life when they first heard your music or got introduced to you, what you did to them, how you influenced them, like you would never know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And they may not be able to get it out the right way, too.
So that one interaction could go such a long way, you know what I mean, based on the energy that you give to these people, you know what I'm saying? Because that's really how it be. It's like, damn, like, you right here outside? Like, you outside, and you where I'm at? I could be where you at.
Right.
Like that's like how the calculation work. You know what I'm saying? If you could do it, I could do it. Like, yo, I touched him. He right here. You know, so I definitely like to give people that experience, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's probably my sole purpose alone is to inspire.
You're definitely inspiring us on this project, man.
Yeah, man. We ain't gonna wait 5 years for another album.
Oh, no. And if that happens, I need y'all to run me down.
I remember back in 2020, you tweeted that you finished the album like 3 times. Did you save any of that older material?
Absolutely. I got there was 3 or 4 albums that I did, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, the first 2, which could just probably be combined into one, was Depression. You know what I mean? It's a real somber project, and there's one song off of there called Ground Zero. I see my fans ask me about all the time because I had performed it on the Beast Coast tour like every night as just an unreleased song. So like, yeah, I definitely have plans on that music coming out in the future, but I just gotta find the right opportunities, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to be very intentional with my music. Like I want to make sure that like when it comes out, it's aligned with how my current feelings are or my current sentiments are. You know what I mean? So,
what song are you the most proud of on this project?
It's a great question.
You talking your shit on a lot of them, man.
I really love Show Me.
Okay.
I really love Show Me. I just think it's like it was just the whole way it came about. Like I've never detailed a situation that I experienced so perfectly, I feel like, into words. And it's just the mood of it, the Man I Trust sample, like I'm just really glad I put that on there, you know what I'm saying? And I definitely wanna tune into that lane a little bit more. Like I look at Show Me like in the vein of Love Is Only a Feeling. You know what I mean? It's like that lane. And Love Is Only a Feeling is my biggest song. Like, I think people have an affinity or an appreciation, a love for my love songs.
You got a couple of them on there.
Yeah.
I like Make Me Feel, Cruise Control. Even just having Diddy's presence on there over the DeBarge sample. Like, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. When you talk about my favorite songs, like, then they change every week, but The Baddest, make me that whole 1 through
Yeah,
like,
they hit you in the head.
It does.
yeah, man. Especially in the Head High is another one. Like I feel like Head High is just gonna be one of those songs that no matter what year, no matter whatever you play it in, it's always gonna be strong. It's always gonna have that vibe. Like to me, that's just a quintessential hip hop record.
Right.
You know, it's storytelling, fucking flow, sound. It's just, I love that record.
It's ill on Eulogy because I didn't even realize it was you on the second verse.
Oh yeah, when I pitched my voice.
Yeah, you pitched your voice. Like, who the fuck is this? I was like, oh,
yeah.
that's just Joey. So.
Yeah, word up.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Joey, brother. Glad
No
you
doubt,
Yes, sir.
man. Thank you guys.
Album of the
man.
year contender, man. I'm putting it out there.
B-Dot said it.
I
You
said
heard it. B-Dot said it, man.
It's up
B-Dot
there,
said
man.
it.
I'm hearing
I ain't
people.
even had to say it myself. You know what I'm saying? Some rappers become here self-proclaiming and shit. I'm just letting the people speak.
Nah, this is shit. There's people that I've known that not necessarily were Joey Badass fans prior that have, but like, yo, you know that Joey Badass album was like kind of like a word of mouth album. So
I told you, your bars on there, like, it's definitely my favorite project you put out.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
there we
Word up.
go.
It's my favorite project I put out too.
I think it's
It
the
needs
best.
to be, brother.
Yes,
Needs to be.
sir.
Yeah. But I think my best project is still All American Bada. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start that debate.
Debatable.
We'll start that debate in the comments. Yeah, Joey Badass.
Rapradar.
Yeah.